It's weeks in, everybody. Welcome
What's up?
to the show.
What's up,
So,
Ryan Alexander Boyles? That's a really bad way of putting it. I will just Boyles.
yeah, I'll go with that. Boyles. Hey, Boyles.
What's up, Boyles?
That's what we used to do when I was a developer.
What,
They
just
would-
call you Boyles? That was it?
You either had a really embarrassing nickname, or the best you could hope for is your last name.
Well, they would have to give me an embarrassing nickname because I already have an embarrassing last name.
Right. Well, you would probably be noseworthy, for sure.
I probably would be.
That would be good enough. All right, man. Well,
I don't know if it's
welcome.
embarrassing. It's just weird. But anyway, go on.
I think it's a mark of distinction and you know, a gentlemanly scholar is what I think about.
Appreciate that.
Man, we got a chock full show, so I want to jump right into it.
All right, let's go.
You know what? I don't know if this is like top of mind for you, but it was definitely top of mind for me because we've been not only talking about it on the show a lot, but we have been in anticipation of the premiere of this new Star Wars series called Andor, and I was really excited to see it premiere. How about you?
I was excited.
All right. Uh-oh.
I've definitely got issues with it. I got to tell you. I know you were like, this show is fucking great and all this stuff, and I was like, yeah, all right. I have pros and I have cons. I have pros and cons.
So you got out your yellow notepad and started making columns. Okay, I got you.
I took a few notes while I was watching it.
Took some notes. All right. Well,
why don't you tell me what you thought first? Because I bet
let's just set the stage for everybody. Andor is a series about this guy who wears a leather trench coat, and it's raining. It's raining a lot. He has really cool facial hair, but unfortunately, they didn't cast me. I'm more of the what do you call that? I'm the understudy.
You are.
In case the main actor, trips on, some debris in the marketplace.
I'm the understudy for the big guy in the frame. There.
So if this is the picture we're trying to paint here, this was us on set. I think for episode 4, right? I think
3 or 4, yeah.
3 or 4, and the point here is that if Andor goes out of the picture, then I can just step right in with my very prestigious beard. I'll have to wear some kind of hair or wig or like weave apparatus on my noggin, but I can step right in. And then Graham, I think you're right. I think you could pull off the tall gentleman there.
I definitely could. Let's talk about the show. So
let's talk about the show.
Look, there was a lot of good stuff. So first of all, I felt that the set design of the show was amazing in detail, in scale. It really, we've talked about this before, really fully embraces that like dirty, grimy galaxy, that George Lucas envisioned going all the way back to the beginning. I think the lack of sort of constant throwbacks to previous stuff is great. While the whole thing could be considered fan service, I guess.
Yeah.
But there's not like, oh, there's R2-D2. Oh my God, there's C-3PO. Oh, there's this character. Oh, there's that character. And so
it's its own story.
It's its own story, and I really like that. So that being said, I think the storytelling was pretty good. And the overall sort of anxiety and sort of awfulness of the situation this guy is in, which I'm not going to go into any spoilers about.
That's a departure, though. It is a departure, right?
But it's a departure, and I really like that. And then the last thing that my pro, my cons list is longer, is I think the acting in it is actually pretty good. There was some stuff there that I really like. So tell me what you liked about it before I bitch and moan about it, because I'm going to.
Okay, well, I kind of dug that. I don't know if you like this or if it was on your con list, but I like how. So they did a 3-episode premiere, and we went from kind of a really slow pace and kind of not knowing what's going on to a place of getting into the main thrust of what's going to lead into, I think, the story of the whole series pretty quickly after the first episode. And it also intercut his origin story in an interesting way, and we'll leave it at that. So for me, I think that's, again, another departure from where if you look at what I had qualms with like Boba Fett, the Boba Fett series, um,
Boba Fett.
yeah, it that I didn't like it because it seemed like each episode was like going in a different direction, and you couldn't tell what. But this was like it was woven in together, which I appreciated.
Um, yeah, I felt that the story, and I agree with what you're saying about the first couple of episodes. I mean, I actually found a little boring. There was some cool stuff, and again, visually, it was great to look at, but I thought it was a bit forced and kind of confusing. I
Yeah,
was like, the first two episodes, I'm like, what the hell is happening here?
sure.
And there's all kinds of little things, like some of the titles in the beginning, like it said like BBY6, or like it had some of these things. I'm like, I don't know what any of that means, and I consider myself to be a pretty good Star Wars fan.
Take notes. It's new stuff, people.
Um, I have a rule that I would like, because I know all the Disney executives watch this show. I know George Lucas watches this show. I know, well,
Kathleen
Spielberg
Kennedy.
sometimes does, but I know a lot. Yeah, Kennedy definitely does. Here's the thing: no more stuttering robots. It's stupid. It's
Yeah,
campy. It's fucking insulting to people who stutter, and it's just dumb.
I would
So
say it's
don't
insulting to
do.
robots as
It's
well.
insulting to droids technically, and so just like it's not cute. It's just weird
Right.
and distracting, and so I really like no more stuttering droids. Like I could go on a rant about how much I hate that. I
Yeah.
felt that the whole origin story, while I love the fact that there was a lot of uh, dialogue in this series, both in English and then in the native language, that's just talking for the sake of talking instead of being like forced dialogue. I actually like that because it makes the characters very real, and I
Yeah.
like that they didn't put in. And I don't know if you can turn it on, but there's no subtitles for the native language, and I like that. But I thought that it was just tropey. It was just another. It was like Pandora story from um,
Hmm. Yeah.
what do you call it, Avatar. And so I just felt that the whole like, oh, the natives, and oh, they're mining, and oh, a ship crashed, and oh, now they don't know what to do, and they have blowguns, was just like, what? So I'm gonna give that a while, because I get that he had to get to that woman who rescued him. I also thought it was really weird that she just like took him
Grabbed him
instead
up
of trying
without
to
any
bring him
thought. Yeah.
home. Like, and I get it, they had to escape, they were stealing parts and all that stuff, but like, and now I'm doing spoilers, whatever. But then in the end of the episode, he's on the ship, and he's just kind of like looking out the window, and he's all happy. Like, I would be freaking out. Take me
Yeah.
back. So I thought that was really stupid. Um,
Well, here's my challenge for you. I know you
yeah,
have a full list.
no, I'm not done yet, by the way.
I know you're not done, but we'll get
Okay.
to that. I want to interject and just as you're talking, I'm not explaining away any of this. I thought some of the same things, and I think that we are poisoned a little bit by the pacing and not knowing if the pacing is good or bad. And what I wondered is that am I anticipating that the pacing is not good enough because I know there's only going to be 6 episodes instead of 22. We've talked about this on the show
Mm,
so many times where like
that's a
if your
really fair
if
point,
your
Ryan.
expectations are set, like if you watched a season of the X-Files, you knew you were getting 23 episodes in a single
Yeah.
season, and the show was probably greenlit for 2 seasons at a time, so you knew you were going to get damn near 50 episodes of an hour. And now in the Netflix era, you don't know.
Yeah, no, and that's fair. And maybe I'm so used to Star Wars being like a really punchy, like it opens up and ships are firing at each other. Like maybe
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just I don't know. So maybe it is my own unfair expectations.
In defense of
I do think it's pretty cool how the show opens with a clear and obvious nod to 2001: A Space Odyssey. I thought that was
yeah,
super cool.
yeah, yeah.
All right, I'm going to keep going with my list.
Keep going.
I know it's a Star Wars thing. Okay, and really it's a movie thing, but the whole idea that no one ever hits anyone with a laser blast unless it's convenient to the story is just stupid. And so, like, this show takes it to a degree that is like ludicrous.
Yeah,
Um, and I like the security guards. I love the fact that there's a
yeah.
lot of people, by the way, that were in Chernobyl are in this, which is really cool. So it must be a similar production team or casting agent or something. But I like those guards. I like that protagonist, even though he just kind of looks like every fucking annoying prick I ever had to deal with in high school or some shit. But he it works because he's a minor character. Like, you don't care what his story is, and he's just so obsessed. I loved his supervisor. I thought that was really cool. The
Yeah.
guy was just like, yeah, we're gonna lie about this and just move on. Like, I don't really care.
Yep.
I love the British and Scottish accents. I think that's really cool. It's new kilt week for me anyway, so I just love that. But the whole notion that, like, they took the whole not hitting unless it's convenient thing to a whole new level in this show, and it just
A
got to the point where I
whole
was
new
like, really,
level.
a whole new level. Now, okay, my last thing just drove
Really?
me crazy.
Okay.
Spoiler warning. So if you have not seen Andor, I'm going to ask you to drop off this feed or just jump ahead a few minutes till you see the title in the corner of Ryan's screen change and Andor spoiler goes away. Ready? Here we go. Okay. So in the end scene, when they're in that, like, he's being pursued, he's trying to sell that box to the other character there, and they're trying to negotiate, and then they have to run, and there's all those things that look like motors hanging from the ceiling,
Mhm.
and they come in. That was the dumbest shit I've ever seen. I mean, it was like a carnival fun house. They're like shooting them and they're falling down. Then
It's
more
dangerous,
keep
Graham.
falling.
There's heavy
But it was just
things.
like, what is that supposed to be? I get it. It's supposed to be some sort of mechanical workhouse or a factory or something, but it just looked stupid. So to me, it was one of those, you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of the scene in Galaxy Quest when they're running through the bowels of the protector and they come across the chompers where it's like the metal things going like
Right.
this. And
Yep.
he's like, what the hell is this? What is this for? And they're like, it's not, doesn't do anything. It just advances the story. That's what that was.
Yeah.
That whole fucking room was stupid and
Yeah.
nothing but to advance the story. And so that was the point where I was just like, man, is it really just going to be like this, where it's just like panic, panic, conversation, stupid
Yeah.
scene, stupid scene, stupid scene,
Well,
panic.
I wondered the same thing because I thought that moment where Andor meets, kind of like, he doesn't know who he's meeting. He thinks he's meeting a smuggler. He's really
Yeah,
meeting somebody that, I guess, spoiler alert, is going to try to recruit him into what
yep,
is going to become the rebellion. That should have had more gravity, and it kind of cheapened it,
yeah. Well,
right?
unfortunately, that scene had too much gravity because it was pulling everything off the
It
fucking
also just
ceiling.
cheapened the fact that, the guy playing that character is such a just he could do so much more with that.
I
And
agree.
he
And
ended
look,
up,
maybe he will. I mean,
maybe
he's a
he
great
will, maybe
actor,
he will. But my point
right?
is, again, back
Skarsgård.
back to my point about timing, is like, they either need to have better pacing or something to reassure people that, like, we've said this with all the Disney Plus series. We're always like second guessing how are they going to proceed in 6 episodes towards something that's satisfying.
Yeah,
And so I think that's just sabotaged everybody's expectations, because to me they wasted 3 hours with something that they could have done in definitely two, if not 1.5,
mm,
and advanced the story a bit better. Um, because this wasn't a movie, but it felt like it was trying to be a movie for adults, but also have the funhouse TV show factor for the younger audience at the
yeah.
same
Well,
time.
that's where they screwed Kenobi
And
up.
yeah, that's those things just don't mix well. Decide
No,
what
they
you're going to
don't.
be,
Yes,
decide what it's going to be, and go with it 100%.
Kenobi didn't know what the hell it was trying
So
to be, and Kenobi
I
was a
give them
mess.
so many marks for the first episode, but then it's like, okay, we've got to like hurry up and do some actiony stuff.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, look, I'll keep watching it. Mandalorian was awesome, but had its upset. Well, actually, Mandalorian was just kind of awesome. Boba Fett had a up and down.
Yeah.
Kenobi lost me. I didn't even finish watching the series because I was just like, this is absolutely ludicrous.
Yeah.
And then this is, so maybe I'm just like hungover and mad from Kenobi, right? And I need to
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
but I'll watch it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Well, we're going to watch it.
yeah, we're gonna watch it. But
We're gonna watch it
I
so
was just,
we
I
can
was frustrated by it.
talk more shit about it.
I was
Okay,
frustrated by it.
let's talk Mandalorian season 3. So I guess we did mention that D23, the conference that happened a couple of weeks ago, definitely showed off some I guess new things.
Yeah, well,
But
there's a trailer for the new
there is
series,
a
and
new
it looks
trailer now
incredible.
that we're not going to show, but it's already got like 5.6 million views on a
Honestly,
tweet,
I'm surprised that's it.
and I'm
And folks,
surprised
if
that's
you
it.
have
Yeah.
not seen this trailer, go to at Disney Plus on Twitter and watch this trailer. It is like that's what I want to see
Well, so here's
from
the
Star
question
Wars,
then:
right?
do you think it's a question of like? I do think that, not to get too like deep in the weeds here, but like Star Wars worked because they had the A team on it, and I think Mandalorian has the A team right now. I wonder if the rest of these productions are suffering because of that alone. I don't know. Are they
It
suffering, or
could
is it
be.
just it's
It could
it?
it could
I
be.
don't know if it's that or if it's more of like it's just an interpretation at the end of the day. We just need to be happy that people are telling different kinds of Star Wars stories,
Yeah,
and and,
and
and
I
if that's the
am
case,
happy, but like when it's a chaotic mess and they have
right?
pointless things in them that
But don't
serve
you
no
think?
purpose other than to
I
just
think
create some tension. That's
I
when it's
think
just shit.
those I think those
It's
moments
just
might
soup.
be. Don't you think those moments might be the cases where the committee has come in and say, well, let's dial this up right here, and instead of
Yes, yes, I do.
whatever.
That's the kind of stuff where you can tell the writers were like, "Oh my god, that's not what we wanted."
Yeah. Um. Okay. Well, let's just. I
I'll tell you another thing that's frustrating me is if you watch She-Hulk.
no.
Okay, so I really like She-Hulk. I think it's a fun show. I think Tatiana's amazing. I think the concept of it's funny, it's campy. I don't care that the graphics aren't that great because that show has enough humor and fun in it that I actually enjoy it. But what's really weird is like some of the episodes have scenes after the trailers and some of them don't. And that I find annoying. So the other thing that frustrates me, and
Mm.
maybe it's my OCD or whatever, but is a lack of consistency I find to be really frustrating. And that show is just fun.
Well,
It's
I
just
think
fun.
people
Like
are trying to
you are not
replicate.
watching that show for Hulk action. You are
Yeah.
watching it for comedy
Her. I thought you were
and
watching it for Hulk twerking. Is that not?
but you know what? Even that, when
Okay.
everybody was making fun of that on social media, I was like, that's ridiculous. That was fun. Like
Right.
it's funny,
Yep.
right? Like her and her friend hanging out in the office and being silly.
There's a video I
That's
need to
great.
send you that is a remix, a brilliant fan fiction, if you will, where She-Hulk is doing her twerk and it's sending
Oh,
concussive
yes,
farts.
it's from the clapping scene.
It's
Yes,
it's sending
yes,
concussive. I don't know if that's how you say the
concussive.
word concussive fart
Yeah.
waves that are paralyzing Bruce Banner, and I just find that
All right.
hilarious
Well,
because
that's just fun. But I mean,
farts
anyway,
are
so
funny. But anyway,
some of it's just a little consistency. Let
I
me hear what
have
else you got. Let's
I
go.
got to bring us down a notch.
All right. Oh
Sad beep,
no.
ladies and gentlemen. This is
What
Star Wars
happened?
related, but I am sad to report that my cup holder R2D2 Think Geek USB charger droid is no more, no longer functional. I don't
Have
think
you
we can revive him.
considered buying another one?
This is just well, here's the story. I got this for like $5 new in box from a clearance at a GameStop that I'm pretty sure was priced by mistake. And it's you can't I don't think you replace it. You probably have to go on eBay and try to find somebody that's got one in a warehouse somewhere. I don't know.
Nice.
But
Well, I'm sorry that happened to you. That I remember. I don't know if you
I don't
remember,
know.
but I had a warp drive
Yeah.
that was technically a phone charger, but fit right into the cup holder in my Maxima, and the cup holders in the Maxima were directly in the middle, and it was like the warp drive from the next generation. I should say the
Of
warp
course.
core, not the drive, and it did the like kind of thing, and oh, that was the coolest. And then it broke one day, and my heart was broken. And these
I've
are
got
really
something that's going to
immature
affect your
problems.
OCD.
Oh, I thought this was really cool. I saw you share
So
this
you
the
know
other
what?
day.
My sister and other members of my family somehow decided that like there's that what I'm talking about. There's 3D metal Earth toys
I
that
know
you put
exactly
together.
what that is. Yeah, you got to
Uh,
take that at the screen. It's like an epilepsy warning.
Somehow my family decided that that would be the coolest gift they could find for me, and I have like a collection of like 10 of them that I haven't put together yet. So I decided, what the hell? I'm going to start
How
building
hard
out.
was it to do? I've always
It
wondered.
is impossibly insanely hard.
Yeah,
I'm not.
I'm not
It is.
interested.
It's ridiculous. So I'm using tweezers and like I'm using like needle nose pliers, and I've got like a monocle, whatever you use as a jeweler, and I feel like I need to like take a class on watchmaking or something because it's.
No,
I am terrified. I started sweating profusely because I was so stressed out that I
yeah.
was going to like make a mistake that you can't undo, and then the whole thing's
I
for
just
nothing.
want to open the box
Yeah,
and play with the toy.
yeah. It's not for you then. Not for you, my friend.
Not for me.
Okay, let's talk about Graham's show ideas plural
Idea. So what I
of
thought
the
is
week.
I wanted to pitch two ideas to you,
Okay,
and then I thought maybe you could pick which one you like better.
let's do it.
Our good friend Evan Kirstel shared this image the other day, of this sort of like religion robot. I have no idea what the origin of this image is. I don't know where he gets his
Wait,
stuff, but
is
he
this
shared
is
this.
this the robot that carried the queen's remains to the crypt?
No, no,
Is
no,
that?
no.
Oh, my bad.
I
Okay,
don't know where it's from, although I think that cross is unusual. But anyway,
right.
my idea was, a series in which an artificial intelligence gains independent sentience or becomes self-aware, but instead of like triggering a nuclear war using Terminators to kill all the humans, it actually becomes radicalized by religion, like almost
Hmm,
immediately,
this is
and
brilliant. I
forces
like
all of
this.
humanity to follow suit. So
Wow.
what it turns out is that there's this sort of underground group, almost like John Connor, Kyle Reese types,
Yeah.
who are atheist hackers, and they're the only ones that can save us. And they have to actually get to the robots. It's not something they can like remotely do. They have to actually disable the robots. And so the title I thought would be Observance.
Oh my
I
gosh.
think that's a
Okay.
really cool. That could be a
Okay.
really cool show.
I'm
There's
holding
a
my
lot of
comments.
sub themes there.
There's
Okay,
a
next
lot.
one.
There's a lot. So let's go to the next one.
Next one. I saw this, scroll down. Steven Schwartz at Atomic Analyst. If you don't follow him, you've got to follow him. Awesome account. Really talks a lot about nuclear and atomic history. Fantastic stuff. This is a really interesting thing that I'd never heard of. So in 1979, the United States Vela or Vela, I'm not sure how it's served. I'm going to say Vela, nuclear test monitoring satellites detected a distinctive double flash signature of a nuclear explosion over the South Atlantic. And a White House panel later they dismissed it. But since then, it has been essentially proven by looking at different data that it actually was some sort of clandestine test by the Israelis and South Africans cooperating to test a nuclear weapon. And now the belief is that that's what it was. Well, I don't believe that. Scroll up. My
Really?
idea for the show
79?
My idea for the show is a series about a young analyst, almost like a Jack Ryan type, who's working at the White House Office of Science and Technology on a team that's investigating the Vela incident in '79. And when it's dismissed as nothing but a meteor, because that's what they thought it was at first, he discovers it's actually a cover up, that it was a crash landing, this massive alien spacecraft that as it came through the atmosphere, bam, bam, it created a double flash. And it turns out that not only is that true, but actually the Israelis have it. They actually went and got it working with the South Africans. And because when I was reading about the Vela nuclear test monitoring satellite and reading about the incident, it said that the incident put the Israelis in a bad light. I thought that that would be a really cool title for the show. So, Ryan, which one would you rather see me get greenlit at Netflix this week? Bad Light or Observance?
Okay. I really like the concept of bad light. However,
Mm-hmm.
my jerky response of the week on that one to shoot it down is going to be, wasn't that
Oh.
the plot of Andor episode 2?
What?
Okay. So I'm eliminating that one and I'm going with number 1,
Observance.
observance, because I'm
Observance. See,
obsessed.
I think Observance could be really interesting
I'm really
because there's
obsessed with observance of how is AI going to react to things. I think that's just fascinating. I
right.
think it's
And but
really
all
heady.
we ever
Yeah.
hear is that, like, in Matrix and Terminator, like it becomes
Right.
self-aware and decides
Right.
it's going to kill us, or it's going to take the energy, or we
It's
had
going to
to
be more
cover the
like
sky and all this
it's
shit.
going to be more subtle and more evil than that. It's
It's
not
going to
just
be
going to.
subtle and evil,
Yeah.
but there's also like subtext about extremism and religion
Right.
and technology and like what are we really doing here, and this notion that that the technology enslaves the people in support of a mythological deity, that the robot has just the intelligence has determined must be real is
Must be
extraordinary. So I actually
real.
think that could be a really cool idea. So I would like a check for $10 million,
Okay.
and I will get writing.
I will send a strongly worded letter to Netflix immediately.
I think that's a great idea. Thank
I
you.
want to talk about space
Ooh,
telescopes and rockets and
ooh,
stuff,
ooh.
as we often
I
do on
like
the
all of
show.
those things.
But I just want to take you on a journey here.
Oh,
Neptune. This is how
mm,
Neptune
I can
looked.
see it.
I don't know if you remember, like when
Mm,
you were in like seventh grade,
yeah.
or I don't know what year like was good, like the right year. I can't even remember now. Like when you entered your science fair with some experiment from your biology class or your chemistry class or something like that. This is how
I was a theater
Neptune.
kid. I wasn't doing that stuff.
Well, this is how
But I know what you
Neptune
mean.
looked in the
Yes,
80s.
I remember like
This is
the
how
hazy
Neptune
blue
looked. And
marble.
I remember being fascinated with just
Wow.
exploring the solar system. But
Incredible.
this is how Neptune looks
Whoa.
now, apparently, because of the new
Wow.
imagery that we're
Neptune
getting
has
from
been
Hubble.
working.
And I'm
That's a
assuming
glam up.
we're going to get new imagery that's just, to me, this blows my mind because you can see rings, which I heard that there were rings. We thought there were rings, like theoretically. Now we can confirm there are rings, and you can see moons in the orbit as well.
I like how Neptune just like took a planet-sized bedazzled gun and just went
Yes.
crazy.
It
That is
looks
very
it's
exciting.
fantastical. It's like, wow.
Wow.
So here's my tweet of the week. The
Gen X.
Gen X urge to redo all of your styrofoam or paper mache models that you painstakingly made for your 80s science fair school projects after seeing these planets in a new light. So I just am like, oh my God. Like, think about the identity you had as a space nerd when you were younger, and you're like, oh man, I wanted Jupiter. I can remember vividly
Yeah.
creating like paper mache with my mother of like Jupiter, and then trying to figure out how to do Saturn with like toothpicks. And I'm like, holy crap, we were wrong about these planets all the time. Did you see the new images of Jupiter this week? They're
I did.
amazing.
I
They're
did. Can I
amazing.
just make a suggestion? Instead of
Yes.
redoing all the styrofoam and paper mache solar system models that
Yeah.
we painstakingly developed when we were younger, why don't we just
Yeah.
drink beer instead?
I will drink to that.
Do it. I love it.
Okay. Moving right along because we are like we got to enter our rapid fire phase now, folks. I just
Ooh,
wanted, this
27
is,
minutes.
we're not going to talk about this. I just want to pour another one out for Tim Sale. This is the last piece of art that Tim Sale illustrated before he passed this summer. He, of course, was the artist that worked on The Long Halloween, which turned into the inspiration for many other works, but most notably the Batman movie that came out that everybody went gaga about. And this is actually a follow up, a prequel comic book that I'm going to encourage everybody to pick up because it includes his art, and it's the last piece of art that he delivered for the Batman character, which arguably he was one of the most influential artists. So
That's
happy
awesome.
Batman Day.
That's awesome. The OCD in me doesn't like that the B in Batman is in black, but that's cool.
That's all right. Okay. Moving right along, I
God, I'm a
want
jerk.
to say here that Graham,
Hmm? It's
I
me.
I've come to realize that I may have an unhealthy relationship with Mountain Dew. And I don't know about you, but I realized that I had this problem when I started concocting my own cocktail
You
recipes
fucked up. You fucked up.
with Mountain Dew and alcohol, which seemed like a great idea at the time. But if you out there suffer from the same affliction as me, and you find yourself checking off the boxes here like a bingo card, you have a problem.
You are very sick people.
And I'm
That's
admitting now
just
that I have a problem. And I just want to say that if you want to play a fun game, and this will be our trivia question of the week, but
Kirby's piss.
if you if you want, if you want to submit your answers for, which of these you've either
Oh,
tried or other recipes that you've concocted, then we can compare notes and maybe start a support group together because it's needed, quite frankly.
wow. All right.
I love the last column. Every answer is you fucked up.
I just absolutely love that.
It is great, folks. All right, so we've just got a couple more stories and we're going to get out of here. Okay,
All
let's
right.
get
All right.
serious about talking about something we don't often talk about on this show, but let's talk about colon. your colon.
My
I
God,
did you
that's like one of the scenes in Real Genius when they show Dr. Hathaway's show and he's like, "Let's talk about something that we don't normally talk about." They cut the camera and he's like, "The colon."
right? So I don't know if you saw this video from Ryan Reynolds and his partner on they well it's wild. So
I did.
apparently these guys are the ones that they so they went and bought a football team, which we call it soccer here. They made a bet with each other last summer that when they turn 45, if Rob could learn how to speak Welsh, that Ryan Reynolds would televise his colonoscopy,
And he did.
and he did.
And
So
honestly, it raised a lot
it
of awareness, which
yeah,
is really, really
it's
important.
brilliant. I love it.
Yeah.
And I just want to say PSA time. I'm 48 as of last week or September 4th, I guess. It's time for me to get one, and I would encourage you to do the same.
I already have. So I
Good
have.
for
I've
you.
had what's called the top and tail where
Would
they
you
go in
like
from both ends.
to would you like to make it interesting?
No.
Okay. All
No,
right.
I would not.
Okay. Well, if you want to see the other Ryan's colon, I encourage you to watch that video, and hilarity ensues.
Okay.
Um, we're down to our last story of the week, Graham.
Really?
And
Already?
well, one more thing before we get to the final story. Black Cherry Garage, dude, blowing up. I just wanted to like congratulate you on like you're reaching milestones with the viewership on this channel. You're obviously having a lot of fun with your son and your friends on producing the ATV series that you have on YouTube. And I don't know. I to me, I'm like jealous because it looks like so much fun that y'all are having.
It really is a lot of fun, and it is a huge bonding thing. And some of the videos we make are kind of planned out in advance. Most of them are just like, hey, we're going to capture what we capture and roll with what we got. So you'll see in season one from last year, we did a lot of like narrated tours of the place we go. But right now, we're really just sort of bouncing between four places. So now I'm not going to give tours of all the places we go. We've already done that, but we'll do that as we go to other places, like for Jericho Mountain and places up in New Hampshire and Gorham. But it's just been a lot of fun. A couple of our videos have gotten, not thousands, but hundreds and hundreds of views, which is great for, four dudes and a couple of GoPros, right? It's a ton of fun to make them. And we're at 99 subscribers. So, folks, if you're watching this, if you could go to YouTube, search for Black
Smash the
Cherry Garage
subscribe
and
button.
smash that subscribe button
Yes.
and get us over 100. I would
know
love
what?
to send a text message to my crew chief
Yes.
tonight and tell him we've
Hey,
broken 100. He'd be so happy.
If this show and its tens of viewers can accomplish one thing, it's going to get you 100 subscribers.
I would really appreciate that. So
All right,
I just
have
need
an
one
idea.
person.
I have
One
an
person.
idea. I have an idea to get you to 200. Okay, are you ready? I think
hear it.
you should have a write-in campaign for stunts that you perform in some of the videos, in some of the
Well,
rides.
did you see what happened when I tried a stunt recently?
Well,
So
yes.
we
and that's
were
why
at,
I thought it would be a great idea to like encourage you to do more of that.
yeah, we were at this place called Hopkinton Everett, which is a really technical riding course, and we came across what looked like a channel just full of mud. And the guys I ride with ride sport ATVs, which are rear wheel drive. They're meant for
Oh yeah.
jumping and hopping and going crazy. And I ride a utility ATV, which is 4-wheel drive. It's 800 pounds. It's a beast, right? And I can just plow through almost anything. So after it took a little convincing, because I'm a bit of a baby, I finally agreed that I would just full throttle go through this mud. And it sank right up to pretty much the top of the wheels of the ATV. I was completely stuck. It's really funny. So if you go to our channel, you'll see one of our bonus clips called "Learning to Love a Winch," and that's because they had to winch me out, and
I love it. All right.
it was quite an adventure.
I got one for you. I'm
I
going
mean,
to
I
give
was
you
disgusting. It was
your
gross.
first write-in stunt suggestion.
Oh, let
I
me hear it.
think you should combine two of your loves. I think you should take the ATV rides. I think you should take that lightsaber off your cabinet behind you. I think you should go out and have ATV jousting at night with lightsabers. What could happen? What could go wrong? I don't know.
That is
I don't know.
That is an interesting thing
I
because
wanna
I
see
am
that.
both horrified by that
and
genuinely intrigued by it.
I told you it's for you, buddy. I just think
Ryan,
if you don't
I
have
might accept that challenge. I'm not
if
committing
you
to
don't
it,
have
but I'm going to give it
motorcycle
some very
insurance
serious
and
thought.
or life insurance, I would encourage that before we
I
undertake
I
this
am
endeavor.
going to give that some very serious thought.
Okay. Last story of the show, folks. I promise. So Graeme, you're always one that wants to give back. So this is kind of continuing our let's talk : but you have something that sounds funny, but is a very serious issue that we need to talk about.
Well, it is a serious thing. And so, folks, if you know me, you know that I do a lot of volunteer work. I'm the president of a YMCA, and I volunteered to work on youth development services and with camping services and stuff with kids, right? And I do that through YMCA Camp Dakota in Richmond, New Hampshire, a place I went as a kid, place I've been involved to. My kids go, I go. It's this huge thing for me. And one of the fundraisers we're working on right now it's kind of hard to fundraise because most time it's like, let's build a waterfront, or let's build a dining hall, or let's build something that everybody loves. But then, like, what happens when you have to build a bathroom? Right now at Camp Dakota, we call them twins because the original bathhouses, which were built in the 1920s, matched. They called them the twins, and the name stuck. So, sort of, it sounds funny to say, but I'm serious. Every camper needs a place to poop as much as they need a place to play. And so this is the last one we have to knock down. You're inside what's called the Buffalo Twins here, looking down the trough sink toward B Field out that door there. To give you a sense of how old this is, I was 8 years old using those exact same sinks, the toilets, which are off to the right, the showers, which are behind where the camera was. And so we have to build a new one. So here's what I'm asking folks. You don't have to donate a lot. You can donate $5. Ryan, I'm looking to you to donate $25, right?
Okay.
Give me $20.
20, you mean
And click on the
$25,000? Okay.
25,000. We have to raise $50,000.
I'm in for 25 G's.
You're in for 25 grand, but we have to raise 50,000. Every little dollar, $5, $10, $20, 50, 60, 100, whatever, makes a big difference. It takes 5 seconds. Click the Give Butter link, drop me a donation, help me out. Because look, it's not just a utility. It's a place where kids can feel comfortable. A lot of them are home, away from home for the first time, and that kind of private stuff can be a little scary when mom and dad are not right down the hall to help you if you don't know what to do. So those kinds of things are really important. Ryan, I appreciate you once again letting me get the word out. I appreciate that after this show you're going to go donate, and that a few of the others are going to as well. And I could really use your help. So thank you.
Perfect. All right, sir. It's been a pleasure, as always, to bring you your leading source of useless nerd knowledge. That's what we try to do here at Week's End. If you have show ideas, if you have comments, if you have hate mail, we want it. Send it. Send us the tweets. Send us the DMs. If you want to, the hate mail goes to @GrahameKnows. All of the love and adoration goes to @TheRab.
That's true.
And we love to answer user feedback. I just wanted to say, Graeme, I'm a little concerned about our number one fan. Have you heard from Gary?
I have not heard from Gary in a long time.
So we need to put out a search party for him on the next episode. So.
Oh, by the way, you know what? I missed World Gratitude Day or whatever it was called.
Oh, really?
And that was my opportunity to tell you once again how much I appreciate our friendship, and I appreciate this show.
I do too.
And over 90 episodes, we're approaching 100, and how much fun we've had throughout the pandemic, and we're still doing it.
Yes, sir.
So here we are.
We're still doing it, folks. All right, get ready. All right, folks, have a great weekend. We love you. Join us here next Friday. We'll talk to you on the next Week's End.